where the Prophet ﷺ said that when half of Sha'ban has passed, Allah looks out at His creation and He forgives everyone except for one who is a mushrik, who is an idolater, or mushahin, someone who holds maliciousness in their heart. And it stirred an interesting debate. Now, obviously, if you just click the link in that illustration, which goes to the full infographic, then you'll see the way that we spoke about Sha'ban as a whole. And the fact that the vast majority of the narrations about the 15th of Sha'ban are in fact weak or fabricated even. And if you go through the infographic to the actual lecture, the webinar that we held 2 weeks ago at the beginning of this month of Sha'ban, then you would see a full explanation of those things in accordance with the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the way that the scholars of the Sunnah had understood this concept, understood the month of Sha'ban as a whole and what virtues the month of Sha'ban has, and then particularly what, if any, virtues are there that are associated with the 15th night of Sha'ban. And if it is a special night, if it's a night to be observed, are there any special practices or special acts of worship to be observed? So first and foremost, just an advice, and I don't say this in a condescending way. Well, I love and I appreciate the people that feel protective of this beautiful deen of ours and do not want to permit any innovation and are afraid of innovation. That's a noble thing, and so I'm not trying to be condescending here. May Allah reward all of you who care so deeply about the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ to preserve its practice. But, just a nasiha and advice is not to be hasty in declaring something fabricated because you don't know it, or you found a hadith that sounds similar to it and you went to sunnah.com and that says mawdu', that says fabricated, or an Islam QA link, or any type of QA link, in fact, which could be addressing a different concept, or could be addressing a different hadith narration, or it might actually be a legitimate difference of opinion amongst our scholars. But just don't be quick to dismiss a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, or to say this is fabricated, this is weak, because that's not appropriate. And again, I know it comes from a noble place, so I'm not saying that in a way of putting anyone down, but in a way of appreciating the sentiment, but at the same time, just be very careful to not be hasty with something like that before you type in a comment or something of those sorts. The second thing is that there's a difference between saying that the night might have some virtue to it, and there are particular acts, specific acts that are legislated for that night. So let's break that down a little bit. And one of the things about the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is it's remarkably consistent. And that's something that I love about our Prophet ﷺ. And I love that you can find the connection between the various acts of worship, the various ibadat in the life of the Prophet ﷺ. So if you went through the full webinar and if you go through the infographic, the notes, you'll find that the way the Prophet ﷺ described the month of Sha'ban as a whole is very similar to how the Prophet ﷺ described the days of Monday and Thursday, and then within, so that's midweek, Monday and Thursday are spaced out in the week, and then within the day, the time after Fajr and the time after Asr, which are, if you think about Monday and Thursday, they correlate to Fajr and Asr in the day. Sha'ban is the month between Rajab and Ramadan, right? And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said it's a forgotten month and people overlook it. And he also said, ﷺ, that it is a month in which the deeds are presented to Allah. And we talked about this concept that the deeds are presented to Allah on a daily basis, in the morning at Fajr time, and then Asr in the afternoon. They're presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a weekly basis on Monday and Thursday. And then Sha'ban as a month as a whole, the Prophet ﷺ said the deeds are presented to Allah annually in the month of Sha'ban, just as we go into Ramadan. Now that hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah looks out at His creation and forgives everyone except for a person who is a mushrik or a mushahin, someone who is an idolater or holds maliciousness, some malice in their hearts.